Good afternoon. I am Ken Brown, Professor of Asian Art History here at Cal State Long Beach. I've been on sabbatical this fall, so a few of you may not know me. And it is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker. Before that introduction, there's some kind of housekeeping notes, so bear with me as I cover both thanks to various people and some information you need to know. Today's visiting artist lecture on art censorship in contemporary China is the fifth of six lectures this semester focusing on censorship. These events are part of the B-Word project, Banned, Blacklisted, and Boycotted, Censorship and the Response to It. And this is a campus-wide project coordinated by the Carpenter Performing Arts Center and funded by the Association of Performing Arts Presenters and the Doris Duke Charitable Fund. This project continues through the fall of next year, 2012, so there will be a variety of other B-Word projects across campus. Additional information can be found on the website bwordproject.org, so stay tuned. I would like to recognize two individuals who have worked very hard to secure the grants and who have been helping coordinate the program, and these are Michelle Roberge, Director of the Carpenter Performing Arts Center, and Chris Scotes of the University Art Museum. In addition, my colleagues in the art department, art historians, Professors Katha Paquette and Karen Kleinfelder, have been instrumental in putting together this fall's program and deserve our thanks. I would also like to acknowledge the efforts of Beto Gonzalez, B-Word Project Administrator, Mason Cooley, Professor of Art, who is Chair of the Visiting Artists Lecture Committee and has his own fan club, Michael Nunnery, the graduate assistant who has helped coordinate events in countless ways, and Colleen Ryan from the College of the Arts, who is assisting us as technician with this evening's event. Please do join us for the final event of this fall semester series, which is Wednesday, November 30th, 5 p.m. The Art Department and B-Word Project will host a panel discussion in the Carpenter Center on the far north side of campus. Censorship in the Museum is the panel discussion. Guest speakers for the event are Andrea Fraser, an artist whose work spans performance critique, context art, and institutional critiques, video art as well, and is the author of A Sensation Chronicle. The next presenter in that discussion will be Jonathan Katz, curator of the exhibition Hide-Seek, Difference, Desire, and the Invention of Modern American Portraiture, shown at the National Portrait Gallery, and had some controversy about it last spring. And then the third member of that panel is Richard Meyer, Professor of Art History at USC, who has written extensively on censorship and cultural debates over sexuality and gender in modern art and visual culture. And finally, tonight, we will likely conclude the program by 6:30 at the latest, and as you leave the theater, you'll see individuals from the B-Word Project evaluation team out there in the foyer. They have a poster that says "Be Heard" and a video camera to record comments about the program, so if you will take a few minutes and participate in that, we would be grateful. So please share your thoughts with them, how the event has changed and or reinforce the way that you think about censorship in the work of artists. So you can think about that as you're then interviewed as you leave at 6:30. All right, finally to my task and pleasure of introducing our speaker tonight, who is Kuiyi Shen, Professor of Asian Art History, Theory, and Criticism at UC San Diego, where he is also Director of the Chinese Studies Program. A specialist on modern and contemporary Chinese art and Sino-Japanese exchanges, he received his BA from Shanghai Normal University and his MA and PhD degrees from Ohio State University. His publications in books and catalogs are truly too numerous to mention. I thought about just summarizing a few of them, and I couldn't. So too numerous to mention or even to summarize. Virtually, and I'm not really exaggerating, every other year since 1998, he has published or co-published a book or catalog, and at the same time published 1 or 2 articles annually as well. And he and I were talking a little earlier down at Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, and this seems to be extending out into the next 5 years as well with numerous projects. His focus is on Chinese painting from the Opium War to the present, the last 150 years, And in addition to his scholarship, Professor Shen is a distinguished curator of exhibitions on modern and contemporary Chinese art. And he's worked with museums and galleries in Chengdu and Shanghai in China, in Stanford, around Ohio, and in New York City with the Guggenheim, in an exhibition that went on to the Guggenheim, Bilbao, and to Paris. In addition to these deep and broad contributions to the study of art and the enjoyment of art, Professor Shen is also well-versed in pre-modern painting, and he's generous with his knowledge in addition to acquiring it. For example, from my own experience 3 years ago when I was interim curator at the Pacific Asia Museum in Pasadena, Professor Shen and his wife, Professor Judy Andrews of Ohio State University, kindly spent an entire very long day at the museum. I wish I had a photo to show you of Professor Shen crawling down, looking at paintings from the back, getting out a flashlight, commenting on the seals seemed to be modern zinc fakes. So somebody who's not only a very erudite and polished scholar, but sort of hands-on and generous in sharing his expertise. So it is my great pleasure tonight to introduce Professor Shen and his topic, ripped from the headlines, Censorship in China Today. Professor Shen.
Thank you very much, Professor Brown. Such a nice long introduction. Okay, it takes some time. I can speak a little bit shorter, right? So, anyway, this you can see this topic, this title of my talk actually is very broad. It's censorship in China. Actually, we should narrow down a little bit. So, I want to talk about the censorship in China between the late 1970s to now. So this is in the so-called contemporary Chinese art period. I think some of you maybe have this knowledge of Chinese history and Chinese art. So I just basically skip the early parts, direct start from the so-called Cultural Revolution. This is necessary, give you some kind of background of this. This is showing on the screen. It's okay. Too loud.
If I get under here real quick.
Sorry. Is it okay now? Okay. The Cultural Revolution is the one. It's a very important. The period is also the political event that's from 1966 to 1976 in the modern Chinese history. And the so-called Cultural Revolution actually is not really anything to do with culture. It's about the politics. It's basically the political struggle inside the Communist Party and launched by then the chairman of the party, Mao Zedong, and also between Mao and his political revivals. So showing here, you can see on the screen is the so-called big character, the posters start from Cultural Revolution. Mao used the young students to launch this the so-called revolution. Entire title is a proletarian Cultural Revolution. And because Mao made some mistake in the middle of late 1950s, so he was forced to step down as the chairman of the Communist Party. Then give the power and the real control to his later became the political revival. At that time, is appointed as his successor Liu Shaoqi. So this is how the reason about this Cultural Revolution. And why this is important? Because the Cultural Revolution, all the art we're talking about, the latest in the 80s and the 90s, even 2000s, basically have this as a reference, as a background. And many contemporary art directly related to what happened during this period. And this, I think, many of you must have saw the movie and also the other things. This kind is not unfamiliar to you. This so-called Red Guard at that time, this young students, they will become the major support of the Maoist revolution during that time, especially in the early Cultural Revolution period. And Mao himself very wisely used these the students actually to support the so-called Red Guard. This organization organized first in Beijing by the group of the middle school students, and later became the nationwide kind of the movement. And during the Cultural Revolution, the art is just like this. I just give you some kind of idea what kind of art at that time. Although we should say, start from 1949, after the PRC, the People's Republic of China, established, and the Communist Party took over, established the new socialist China, the art turned into the so-called socialist realist art, and used the model of the Soviet Union, the socialist realist art, as the general policy to their artwork. So these kind of the old artworks must be used as the propaganda tool of the party, and serve as the tool of the government, and also another is served to the peasant, workers, and the soldiers. So during the Cultural Revolution, this kind of the so-called socialist realist art pushed to this kind of to its very extreme the way. And this is on the screen. You can see the typical kind of painting during the Cultural Revolution. Mao, of course, is the center of the painting, and always taller than anyone else, almost a religious painting. Although Mao is quite tall, it's about 6 feet. In Chinese, this is considered quite tall people, but no matter what the case, Mao is always tallest. You can see next one, the same thing. No matter soldier and the peasants definitely have to be lower than the Mao, shorter than Mao, right? And also, all the people should have the so-called the red, bright and shining kind of style. It means all the face looks red and shining, and everyone feels very happy and satisfied under Mao's leadership, and all live in the socialist China. This is called red, the bright and shining style, promoted by Mao's wife during the Cultural Revolution. Mao's wife, Jiang Qing, becomes a major associate of Mao, and also basically handled all the so-called Cultural Revolution in China. And the art, even in the second half of Cultural Revolution at that time, trying to, with some associates of Mao, especially the Prime Minister Zhou Enlai at that time, he was the only one that still received the respect from most of the people, and especially the intellectuals, trying to put China back to the normal kind of track, because in the first half of the Cultural Revolution period, all the school stopped teaching, and also basically closed. The entire university, the system closed, start from 1966 until the 1976. And also most of the factories also stopped producing since. So that's start from the second half. We usually say the first half is the Red Guard period, and the second half is the so-called workers, soldiers, and the peasants, workers, soldiers period. So this second half, we see the economy gradually back to we shouldn't say the normal, never be normal, but anyway, back to the original kind of the track. And the arts also started to switch from this purely Mao's image of revolutionary leadership to the depiction of these kind of called common people. The one reason I think is also very important is Mao used the Cultural Revolution and criticized his political rival Liu Shaoqi at the time, and make them step down, but also point one of his most important supporter, and also the head of the military forces, Lin Biao. But Lin Biao, for some reason we still don't know, in 1971 also suddenly became the anti-revolutionist, the anti-Mao, and died in the plane accident, and in Inner Mongolia. This is still very mysterious. Since still no answer yet. But anyway, so this is the Cultural Revolution. So the Cultural Revolution is ended in 1976. The Mao died that year. In the September 9th, 1976, Mao died. Then right after that, only less than a month after Mao died, the group of the people in the administration in the Communist Party, and also of course with the support of the Chinese people, because after 10 years now, even officially considers 10 years Cultural Revolution is called a political disaster. So this group, the leaders had kind of cool and arrested Mao's wife and also her major associates. So usually we call it the Gang of Four. It's the four major leaders at that time in this center of power. And they arrested them and officially claimed the end of the Cultural Revolution. So start from 1976, this is happened in the October 10th. This is the arrest the Mao's wife. October 6th, arrest Mao's wife and also the scam for four. So start from 1976 to actually the 1978, that's 2 years. Although Cultural Revolution finished, this still the success, the direct success of Mao is a direct pointed by Mao before he died. So the successor Hua Guofeng is still trying to continue the policy of Mao. So it's continue the policy, although it's without the Cultural Revolution, but the policy is still under the influence of Cultural Revolution. So these 2 years, even without Mao, still Mao's policy is dominating this, the Communist Party and also in China. But anyway, this is the changed in the middle of the 1978. That time, this the group that considered a more open mind, also the reformists inside the Communist Party, started to believe if we continue to doing these things, the China never can go forward. So they start to launch this political kind of the debate and also to how to deal with the Mao's so-called Mao's thought and how to Mao's policy. And they start to allow the criticism to criticize the Cultural Revolution. Like the painting here is by a group actually the young artists. At that time, this is a very unique. This group, the artists, actually not in the center of China. They actually the students in the Sichuan province, in the southwest part of China. Actually, really just the whole entire class of the students. These students, after 10 years of Cultural Revolution, the first time they opened to the public, resumed the admission for the college. So this is the first class after Cultural Revolution enter the college to start study art. So this class, the students are very unique because the students, the age of students, some just graduate from high school, some graduate 10 years before. So you can see that it's class gathered. It's a really there's a very talented, many talented kind of the artists, the amateur artists that they developed the artistic skill during the Cultural Revolution period. So the artist Chen Chongling here at that time, one of the students in Sichuan Academy of Fine Arts, they painted directly, still use the so-called realistic style. You can see obviously here. And also even the composition, I think some of you maybe get some knowledge of the Soviet Union art, all this, you can see still even from the French painting, 19th century French painting, get some kind of idea, no matter the composition, no matter the use, this kind of perspective. They're still influenced by this kind of so-called realistic art there, but the themes is a direct point to the Cultural Revolution. This is a theme, the subject of this painting here is showing, although called a snow day in 1968, actually the painting that depicted the kind of the battle between the different sections of the Red Guards in Chongqing. It's one large city in the Sichuan province. These different sections of the Red Guard, because they claim they are all which section is the most loyal to Mao. So this kind of battle is completely empty on this the kind of the how to say the pointed by Mao's kind of the thought. They fight each other. But in Chongqing, because the Chongqing was the city for a long time, is the base of the military industry. So the people over there, no matter workers and Red Guards, they quite easy to get a weapon. So this kind of battle is not really just the fight with hands. You can see here the machine gun and even cannon, even tank used to fight each other between the different sections of this kind of Red Guards. You can see here is kind of obvious this with the machine gun here, and also some here you can see all with the gun in the hands, and this with the box of bullets. So these kind of in Chongqing, actually thousands of people died during this kind of the battle during the Cultural Revolution. So this is the artist depicted this kind of scene, trying to rethink what happened during the Cultural Revolution. As the young the students at that time, because so many young students died in kind of completely meaningless kind of political fight. And like this painting is by his classmate Gao Xiaohuang. Actually, he came to the United States for a while, then back to China. Is now the teacher in the Chongqing too, Sichuan University too. So this painting is also, you can see here, this kind of red guards after the battle, they sit there, just ask themselves, why? Why you have to do this? What's the real the reason you do this? So this, you can see this all the gun on the side, and the wounded people are wounded on the side, and they lie down and ask themselves. This is really this whole generation, because this generation, in the second half of the Cultural Revolution, they were sent down to the countryside by Mao. It's so-called receive the re-education, because the real reason behind it is unemployment. Because all the school closed, you have no chance to go into the college, and all the factories stop producing things. Where the employment opportunity? So Mao at that time have the very the interesting thought to send all the students to countryside, because the place you can go there, it's no one needed to take care. So the more than this 20 million students that time graduate from middle school, high school, and college, all sent to the countryside. Actually, myself was also sent to the northeast part of China, so very close to Siberia, for 5 years, lived there, working the farm. So this is it's a whole generation, is our own experience. So these artists at that time, after Cultural Revolution, back to school, have a chance back to school. All the things are thinking what happened. And also, this is by the same classmate, the Luo Zhongli, now the director of the Sichuan Academy of Fine Arts. He is also depicted the patterns. This painting at that time in 1980, actually the first exhibit, really the big shock to the most of people. The reason is not, this is just a portrait of the old peasant, right? You see here. But this is the entitled of the painting is called Father. So here is a father, is the father of Chinese people, the entire nation of China. Because in the countryside for so many years, all these, the classmates was only almost every single one went to countryside for at least 2 years, and some even longer. So they really start to understand what is happened in China and what's the so-called revolution. Because we go there, Luo Zhongli himself said, these patterns, just like the 300 or 500 years ago, their life didn't change at all. All the propaganda during the 1950 and 1960, when we were young in the elementary school or the middle school, talking about the revolution gave this peasant a good life, and also they lived very happy. We saw all the painting with kind of red, bright, shining face there, is completely lie. So this is a real image of the peasant that time. And also this painting, another thing, the unique of this painting here is the size. Before, in China, who can have the large large size portrait? Only one person, Mao. No one else can have a large size portrait, and especially displayed in the exhibition. So this is a very large size painting. Actually, about more than 2 meters high. This is it's about 7 feet high. So it's considered a very, very large size, the painting. So this kind of size painting is the first time appeared in the gallery. And I remember the first time I saw this, just really shocked. And see this size and so detailed depicted as an old peasant, and instead of Mao's image in front of us. Anyway, this is this kind of things. This is in the 1980s. Also happened is the trial of Gan Fu. This is also with this kind of criticism to the Cultural Revolution, and with the trial of the Gan Fu, this eventually turned China into the new period. Is after Cultural Revolution. We should say this is real after Cultural Revolution. So this is also this time we should still the people in China are still talking about this late 70s and early 80s, it's really it's kind of golden age in the modern Chinese history. So that time, especially in Beijing, this is the so-called democratic war in Beijing, and later also the short period start from 1978 with the debate of the Cultural Revolution, what's the real meaning and also understanding of Cultural Revolution, to the early 1980s, this period. Usually now all the people call it the Spring of Beijing. And usually we use this term is because we all know this in 1950 has the Spring of Prague. So in the East European country. So we, that time they are under the Soviet Union's control. Anyway, during that time, in the west side of Beijing, the city is called Xidan, this place. The official actually, because there's so many people trying to come to Beijing to appear what happened during the Cultural Revolution, because there's lots of problem cannot solve in the local the government by local government, so they came to Beijing trying to appear. So many people visit Beijing, and also so many issues raised caused by this so-called Cultural Revolution. So the officially opened the public space, this wall, to let the people post this kind of so-called big character posters on the wall to express their opinion, and it soon became the place have the open debate, especially at that time the reformist intellectuals used the space to launch this kind of so-called reform movement at the time. Of course, this is also there's a place for many young the artists and also the writers. These two people shown here are the Manke and Beidao. This all maybe from this you know this is not their real name. They are both writer and the poet. They writers and poets. This the Beidao actually is very famous. Both are very famous writers poets, and they become the underground poets during the Cultural Revolution. But at that time they start to post their poetry and also the short essays on the democratic war at the time, and also they published this unofficial the journals, the literature journal. This called Today. So mainly is about the poetry. You can see here that time, and this actually just self-printed kind of journals. But at that time, at least so-called unofficial still let them published. This also the no formal channel for distribution, but still through their friends and through the people's hands, they distribute themselves. And they also have this group of the artists work with this. This is a very unique phenomenon. A group of the artists also work with work with this kind of the people working in the literature field. And as artists, they are doing illustration for these journals, and also they create artworks along with them. This group of artists, the later formed the One Art Society. This is also the one of the very early this kind of unofficial and private art society, because in China, since 1949, no private art societies were allowed to establish. So everything had to be official state-run, and the society is also at the beginning when they established also considered unofficial. So this so-called star group, in Chinese called the Shen group. This group, this is a co-member of this group. All the artists now. Most of them are living. This is the Wang Keping in Paris. This is also Marcus in Paris. And Chile in London now, these two are now in Beijing and Shanghai. And these artists making the cover for the journals, and also making illustrations. You can see here, these are this use just a pen and pencil to make illustration. Also, they publish their own the woodcut works on this kind of magazines. And they, after a while, they decided want to have a show, their own show. This is a very unusual kind of the action, because China, since 1949, including its entire Cultural Revolution period, is all the show. If you want to have art exhibition, you have to The only public exhibition space is state-run, the museums and galleries. But if you want to have the show in this kind of space, you need approved by the local or the central, this so-called Bureau of Culture Bureau, or the propaganda department. And also you must be the member of the official Chinese Artists Association. Then you can have the right to organize a show and also have the right to show your work in these kind of official, the state-run galleries or museums. So these artists, they are all self-taught, the artists, and they learn art by themselves and developed talented during the Cultural Revolution. So they are, none of them, they are members, or so-called members of the Chinese Art Association. And also they don't have any kind of connection with kind of official institutions. So they still applied several times, trying to the Beijing, the Artists Association, say they want to have a show in this kind of public space. Of course, they were denied. So finally, they decide they had their own show just outside of the Chinese National Art Gallery. This is you can see here in September 1927, September 27, 1979. This is the 30 years of the 30th anniversary of the PRC. This is a big event for Chinese government. So this artist decided use this moment to have the launch their first show. Because they couldn't get any space inside the gallery, they decided they show their works in the outside on the fence, on the eastern parts of the National Art Gallery in Beijing. So you can see here, they have their own posters here. Just on the behind it, this is the fence. You can see here. They just hand their works on the fence, and including the paintings, the prints and the drawings, and also sculptures on the fence. You can see here attracted people, lots of people going there. And the show actually in the first couple of days and okay, but the third day of the show, the police come. And you can see here, these are their works that attracted so many people. Actually, thousands of people went to see the show. And of course, the police came too. And after 2 days observation, some works by the artist. Actually, this one is shown on the fence. You can see here, actually, it's here. And this is also the one copy, blind and silent. Their works, obviously, beside their style, is more this kind of so-called modernist style. This is a long time was criticized as a bourgeois, this kind of the Western bourgeois style. It's forbidden in China since 1949. Besides the stylistic kind of difference here, of course, the theme of the works is strongly, and some is very critical, directed criticize the Cultural Revolution, like this one. This one obviously just indicated during the Cultural Revolution, people have to be blind. You cannot see, just have to close their eyes and shut your mouth. So this is the typical kind of the critical kind of work. And some works also showing here, this is Yan Li's work. So because the Cultural Revolution is just, you feel it's not safe because everything you say, someone may be heard. The spine, then the report to the party or report to the government, you will get trouble, sent to the jail, or even the executed. And the artist Li Shuang, that time, this is the woman artist. This on her left is her, on right is her the self-portrait, and depicted. This is actually the very important the scenes happening in China. It's even the woman, the Communist Party member. Because she had a different opinion with this kind of Cultural Revolution leaders, criticized the most the policy at the time during the Cultural Revolution. So she was arrested, condemned as the anti-revolutionist, and also later executed. And even before the execution, because they worried about she will say something before she died, so they even cut her this throat, so didn't let her have any kind of the voice come out. So this is the artist actually just depicted this woman named Zhang Zhixin, and this is the show actually even gets some kind of sympathy from the local, this Beijing Artist Association, the head of the Art Association, Liu Xun here. You can see this is the artist trying to explain their works to him. He actually became kind of sympathized to this to these artists because he himself is also during the Mao period claimed as the rightist first and the anti-revolutionist, sent to jail more than 10 years. So after Cultural Revolution, he just get out from jail. So he really sympathized all these artists there that's pursuing no matter politically or artistically. Because he himself actually learned art during the 1930s with this kind of modernist style. He understands this kind of the art, the modernist art, no matter the abstract art or the other kind of style, modernist art, they are is part of art. It's not so-called bourgeois and criticized by. But this is the first, we should say, I want to show you about the censorship. This show was shut down on the third day of this show in the 29th, September 29th. This is the notice from the local police department. Tell this because they cannot use the public space to show in their work, and this reason is because they disturb the public life. Of course, the behind is definitely is from political reason, because the works itself directly criticize the parties and also the style of the works is definitely not belong to this kind of so-called mainstream kind of art at the time. They put this artworks in the storage inside behind this building. You can see here. This is National the Gallery of Art, the Beijing here. So all the works now held in inside this gallery in the storage room, just next to the east gate with this. And just shut down the show. So this artist, of course, they trying to appear on this and talk to the head of this Beijing Art Association, but they couldn't get any kind of good results. So this artist start openly trying to appear to the public. So they organized the demonstration. You can see here. This artist here have the slogans here. We ask for the freedom of art, and also this artist also gets support from the other intellectuals, the intellectuals, especially this so-called unofficial kind of literature societies, and also some other political organizations at the time. These artists actually organized this demonstration from the Democratic Wall in the west part of Beijing. They originally trying to walk through this Chang'an Street, this main street in Beijing, in front of Tiananmen, but they are blocked. They forced them to alter their route to eventually to the Beijing municipal government. And these are the demonstration you can see here. This is the member and the Martisan of the Shen group. The handicap you can see here, and this is in front of the Beijing municipal government. They reached there, they gave the speech and also sent the delegation inside the government, trying to negotiate with the government, ask they resume the show, let them show at least if no space, any kind of the galleries, at least let them continue the show in the outside of the gallery. And this the organizer of the Shen group, the two Huang Rui and also Ma Jiesen gave the talk at the time. And this, of course, gets the attention from media at that time. Actually the published in New York Times. It's a reporter actually secretly contacted these artists. The artist even didn't know she is the reporter of the New York Times, and so they later. But showed some kind of pictures and also wrote this article. And although they didn't let these artists showing their works, but after about 2 months, the head of that time, the Chinese Artist Association, Zhang Feng, he himself is also or the claim as the rightist and also the anti-revolutionist during the 1950s and during Cultural Revolution, stayed in jail for quite a long time, same as another the official Liu Shen. He, after Cultural Revolution, he became the head of the Chinese art circle, and became the chairman of the Central Academy of Fine Arts, chairman of the Chinese Art Association, and also the president of the Central Academy of Fine Arts. So the most powerful person in the art circle, this Chinese art world. He actually they also have the sympathy to this artist. So he decided to give the artist a chance to show their works. That after 2 months, they let them show their works in the space belong to the Beijing Artists Association. This is the gallery. So this is the first time actually after the fighting and the demonstration, and finally get the rights to show their works in the official, the state-run, this kind of public space. You can see here their works in this show, actually became the second part of the first Xinxin group show, attracted thousands of artists. These are artworks showing there, I just showing, actually the artworks now, it looks, to you now, it's just a kind of painting we are so familiar with. It's not something unique. But at that time, think of the circumstances at that time, this is a very brave kind of, no matter the stylistic or the political or the ideological, it's very brave of the artist. So these are all the works shown at the time, and these are just showing, quickly showing. They even have the second exhibition officially showing in the Chinese National Art Gallery in 1980s, the next year, the 1980s. This is in the 1980s. You can see the members of the members of the Xinxin this style group society also expanded. Now they will have actually the second show have more than 20 the artists showing their works over there, and you can see here this there in front. And this piece, this piece, everyone knows this in China, know this piece. I saw this immediately, know what it means. And this is the Mao. And this is all by artist Wang Keping. Although, because actually Wang Keping showing this work, takes a little tricky. Because he didn't, because the show, you want to have the show inside the gallery, you need approval officially. So that's the Zhang Feng, even the chair of the Art Association, before the show went to the gallery, see all the installation, it's okay. But before the final, the moment, the approval by the Zhang Feng, Wang Keping put this piece in the center of the gallery. Then the Zhang Feng, surprisingly, the Zhang Feng looked at this, didn't say anything, then left. Then they think this is the approval. So this work's showing there. This is quite something actually that time. This is just showing more works. Actually, you can see here. This is the depiction of the Beijing site called Yuanmingyuan over there. The one is the Imperial Garden. It's burned down during the late 19th century. This is all the works of the artists at the time. All different kinds of style. You can see this that time, because after Cultural Revolution, especially after 30 years, from 1940 to 1979, China completely cut the relationship with the outside world, except with the Soviet Union and the East European group. So they don't have any kind of the work from other parts of the world into China. For Chinese artists, all these kind of the so-called modernist art to them is completely unknown. So in the 1979 and 1980 this period, this is the first time China people, especially for the artists and art students, had a chance to see, to know what happened in the outside of China since 1949. So to them, all these kind of the modernist, even the postmodern art, to them, pour into China at the same time. So to that period, to all the Chinese art students and also even the artists, is just to want to learn everything they got. And the few shows, the foreign shows that time sent to China from Europe and from the United States, start from 1978 to 1980 this period, became the major resource for these Chinese artists. Also, all the very limited number of the publication, the journals, art journals, and also the painting albums came into China, all became the much treasured to the art students. This is because the only sources they know. So their artworks, quite obviously, you can see the copying, imitating this kind of the Western modernist art style. And this is the kind of the learning process for the Chinese artists at that time. They didn't have much of their own things yet. This is the one artist, maybe the name you maybe know, the Ai Weiwei, recently everywhere in the newspaper and this also media. And he also joined the Xinxin group. He was the youngest, actually, the artist at that time in this Xinxin star group. And of course, this works after he came to the United States, did the Marshall Duchamp's this here, and also some works shown here. Because just recently, Julie Anderson and me, we organized the exhibition in the China Institute Gallery in New York. It's called the Blooming the Shadow, actually called the unofficial Chinese art between 1974 to 1985, actually including this group, and also include 3 groups, including this about their art. So this is some works that we exhibit in the show in New York now. So this is the end of the second the show, but the time in the 1980s also is the end of this golden period, because after a while the Chinese Communist Party opened the door, and also especially opened the door to the criticism to the Mao and the Mao's wife, and also the so-called Gang 4 criticized Cultural Revolution. They felt this kind of criticism, if they keep going on, will hurt the core of Communist Party itself. So they decided to stop. And also, of course, that later became the one of the most powerful person in China for more than the 2 decades, actually, the Deng Xiaoping, the real leader of China, and back to the center of the power. And at the 1980s, he already consolidated his power. He didn't need this kind of so-called reform support anymore. So the so-called Spring for Beijing was shut down, and the Democratic War was shut down. And also for these artists, they have to leave. So most of the star group artists actually all left China in the early 1980s. They went to Europe, went to the United States, went to Japan, and they all left because they have no way to show their works anymore after second show. After second show, quite successful in 1980s. Another reason is a major supporter, Jiang Feng, we just mentioned, the head of the Chinese Association, died suddenly in 1983 because of stroke. So they lost the kind of supporter from the administration, and also entire political environment changed. And the point Beidao, actually, he went to came to the United States and to actually live in several other places. He was forbidden to publish and even back to China. Since then, actually, he now teaches at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, but still he couldn't back to China. But recently, some his own publication, actually published in China by some publisher. This is a very good thing we see. And another group I want to introduce you that also here is during the 80s, during 79 and the 80s have their show. This group of artists from Shanghai, they organized actually the grass group, or the Chinese called the Cao Cao. The Cao Cao is the grass society. By also group of the artists, most of them they are the self-taught artists during the Cultural Revolution, and some actually had this academic background, graduate from Art Academy during the Cultural Revolution, before the Cultural Revolution. So they organized the exhibition trying to explore this kind of the abstract ink painting. But abstract painting, abstract style at that time, the still the taboo still is a very kind of the things linked to so-called the Western bourgeois. So but because the one of this the major organizer of this grass group, he worked in the one called the Culture Hall in the one district in Shanghai. So he had his little power to organize show in his own space. This is official space, state-run space, suppose. So he actually told his this boss, this is just the ink painting show. So they basically just kind of sneak all this painting into this gallery and have a show. Of course, the show is also later shut down. Although the painting you can see here, the purely just abstract ink painting, monochrome ink painting, most of them, some with the colors. But this kind of abstract quality actually is not only, of course, they're strongly influenced by the, especially American, this kind of abstract expressionist artists, but also also actually abstract quality, the painting, you can trace back to the Chinese literary painting from a long time ago. It's also with this kind of abstract quality, especially brushwork. So this kind of, but both were criticized. The American expressionists, abstract expressionists, of course, will criticize the bourgeois, Western bourgeois, the style, but the literary painting was also criticized the feudalist art. So that this is the two major sources for this, but both criticized at the time. Of course, you censor this kind of show all with different kind of reason. Like the Star Group show censor is because they say this you use the public space, it disturbs the public life. But this time, is to say, the reason shut down the show is to say, the show, you're including some artists, and they are not local Shanghainese. So you cannot have the show with some people not living in Shanghai. So this is the reason. So it's just made kind of reason. It's completely just from political reason. So this kind of art, this kind of show definitely just showed only the 7 days of the show, then the show was shut down. But they forced the organizer himself to claim this show is the end. So this shut down by artists themselves, it's not by government, it just tell you this reason. So you can see this kind of censorship really going to a different way, and in the different place have played a different kind of the game there. But we should say this artists in the 1979 and the 1980s, like the Cao Cao group, this grass group, or the Star group, they really set the foundation for the later development in the 1980s. We should say entire 80s, the China after Cultural Revolution relatively entered a much kind of open society, especially in the 1980s, with the development economy, and their doors really are open much wider than before. And also the younger artists are not satisfied with this kind of so-called socialist or realist art. Even in the academy, in the state-run these kind of academies, young students start to explore the different kind of art, like the abstract painting you can see here, and all the different kind of style painting you can see here. This kind of the serious painting, or called influenced obviously from Dali and from other people. You can show him here, and also this kind of the cubist kind of painting. This I think some art history major immediately figure out this the David Mara, the death of Mara, and actually the partially. But use kind of cubist kind of style to depict this. So here you can see, and also even a kind of new format for art, like the installation art, is can also appear in China. This artist actually this works at that time in this period, it's so-called the 85 the New Wave movement period. This is mainly the artists, all the art students inside the different kind of art academies launched this new art wave movement. to mainly the Western, this kind of modernist art-oriented the movement at the time. The most of the art you can see very much the imitating or the copying the Western modernist style of work. This work is quite interesting. I should say a couple of words here. The artist mixed the two books, put it into the wash machine for 2 minutes. These are two books. The one is written by his professor, his own professor on the history of Chinese painting. Another book is written by Hope to Read, the concise history of the modern painting. This is one by the Western art, talking about Western modern art. Another is the Chinese traditional art. These two books put together. Then what's happened is this. Behind this is, for these young artists, they also quite puzzled and also lots of questions when they facing this kind of pouring the Western culture and the new Western art styles. How to absorb them, how to combine them with the traditional Chinese own culture, their own art. They're still very difficult, the challenging things to them. So lots of time, they just put it together, not necessarily have kind of reaction between these two. So this is the typically, that's why he put the two books in the wash machine. Then what ended is this. This movement and actually concluded by the one show is held in the 1989. This is the so-called Chinese modern art exhibition officially, but in the West usually called the Chinese avant-garde show. This is the 1989, this is February 1989, this group of the young curators and also critics, and after this so-called 85 this art movement, they thought this is the time to conclude this kind of movement, move on. So the kind of the survey show of this what happened in the entire 80s. So the show you can see with the slogan here, this no U-turn slogan. It means that showing the very clear statement here is they want Chinese art to go forward, no U-turn. They don't want back to what in the previous 30 years in China, especially in the socialist Chinese period. So the show gathered more than 2,000 works from hundreds of artists, more than 2,000 works. Showing although the show itself, you can see here, there's so many artists there. The show itself is very chaotic, I should say. I went there. It's just no very clear curatorial kind of the strategy, and also no sense of the installation for artworks. Just put everything together. You can see here. I'm showing something. You can see the sculptures and also the installations and the 2D works, the 3D works. Just get it together. Very eagerly you can see this art, including the curators and critics and artists. They just want to show their works in this space and to let people know what's the effort they made in this 10 years. And this is just to give you also including all different kind of medias in this you can see here. But some politically challenged works like this, the mouse, the photos. It's very familiar by people during the Cultural Revolution. Mao standing on the top of the Tiananmen gate and greeting the Red Guards. Now put the grills here, and this is what's the real meaning there. Artists never tell you, but the one critic at that time gave it to say that this is the very rational way of thinking of Mao. So this explanation we don't know anyway. This is the kind of the Mao's image you can see here. And also have some kind of sculptures, installations at that time. You can see quickly showing here. And it's a space, you can see very crowded space. People just like this, you know, if you don't be careful, your back is immediately step on some kind of artworks. And, but the show is quickly actually also shut down. It's because of this work, because of this piece of work. This is by a young woman artist, Xiaolu, standing in front of her own piece. Actually, this is a piece by actually made by herself and her actual boyfriend at that time. And this installation actually originally is her the graduation work. She was a student at the Zhejiang Academy of Fine Arts in Hangzhou. This is the two telephone booths. Actually, mainly it's showing the communication, how the difficult communication between the young generations. This couple, they have to talk with the phone, and also even this phone, the drop. So showing this young generation's concerns. But in this piece, in this time, the Xiaolu brought one handgun. The gun, you can see, shoot 3 bullets to this her own work. Of course, you shoot gun in a gallery. Immediately caught the police come and shut down the show. And also, this is her boyfriend actually took by police to the police station. And this you can see here. So because of the reason, this show also shut down, but this time, this shut down the show from other reasons. And you can see here. But this year is very complicated. This 1989. I think some of you maybe know this one big event in 1989, the June 4th Tiananmen massacre. It's also happened in that year. This show had the show in February, but in the April of this 1989 is the important person, this former Secretary General of the Chinese Communist Party. He was also considered by most of the intellectuals in China is considered a very open-minded person, and he led this kind of debate and led the criticism to the Cultural Revolution in the early 1980s. He was also really supported this kind of reformist idea. But he was forced to step down in 1986 because he was criticized, didn't stop the student demonstration in the 1986. So he was criticized with this so-called bourgeois liberation kind of tendency there. So he was stepped down. Even the hunger strike in the end of the May. Then, of course, in the center you can see this the statue made by the Central Academy of Fine Arts faculty and students. This followed the New York liberty, this kind of statue of the democracy. So this there, and of course this turned down in the Tiananmen massacre in June 4th. After June 4th, for quite a while, the China actually isolated in the world again. Also the art world turned into a very quiet period for a while. But start from 1992, the China again, pushed by this leader Deng Xiaoping, move on to another stage to so-called economic reforms. Start from that time. He actually. Although he is a person actually responsible for the June 4th massacre, because that time he was the real leader of the Communist Party. But after several years, he felt if let this continue going on, China will his early effort to reform the Chinese economy will completely end. So he launched the second wave of so-called economic reform in 1992. And really start the engine in 1993. So start from that time, the Chinese art also after June 4th, after 2 years, very quiet period, because most artists didn't want to collaborate with the government to have any show and participate in the show, and also they didn't want any kind of active artistic activities. So the younger generation artists start to use different kind of way to deal with this, and so more kind of personal kind of the expression appeared in their art. This kind of so-called political pop that appeared at that time used lots of the images directly from the Cultural Revolution, but this time it's to deal with more the new cultural phenomena, especially especially deal with the new development of the economy, the consumerism, and also this materialism, and this kind of become there's issues. So the way this so-called the artist Wang Guangyu is called criticism looks like they criticize this kind of consumerism and criticize the materialism, but on the other hand, by using this kind of Cultural Revolution kind of image directly remind the people this also the Cultural Revolution, these kind of the ideologies also is a target should be criticized. But interesting, from the party side, they look the other side. So they allowed this kind of work actually appeared in many kind of occasions. So you can see here this. Also, the group of artists at that time, because the China government and the party paid much more attention to the economic reforms and the economic development. So on the one hand, they still didn't let the so-called political reform really going on the agenda of their the government, but they relatively lose their hand to the control of art. So the artists actually they have some kind of freedom, limited freedom to paint whatever they want. This is actually this tendency start from that time to now is continuing. We should say start from the early 90s to now. Although later I will show you, censorship is still exists. Although this kind of the depiction of the Mao actually is use Mao's image because Mao is with this kind of new the second wave of reform, the Deng Xiaoping's ideology is completely different from Mao. So the criticism of Mao was kind of allowed, not officially, but allowed appeared in many artworks. So they use different kind of form. The criticism of Mao is okay, and the artists also with this kind of many artists with kind of cynical way to depict the lots of different things, directly reflect the idea of this younger generation at the time. This kind of empty smiling face, and also you can see here, it also became kind of they usually now we call them the cynical realism. This you can see this cynical realism, realistic painting at that time also became the trends in the most of the this art academies. And these artists you can see depicted the deal with this. Just showing some these artists now I think they become the kind of standard for the contemporary Chinese art. Many artists are showing here the all millionaire, the billionaire even. The artworks showing the international market for $1 million. So these kind of works, but at that time it's still with the kind of like this artist used the photos during the Cultural Revolution and even before Cultural Revolution. Everyone have to wear the same kind of uniform, no matter man or woman, no gender, and also the no facial expression, and also showing with the same kind of tune as it became the kind of also the indirect criticism to what happened in the socialist China period. The artist depicted, especially depicted this kind of the masks of put on everyone. You have to need masks in your daily life in China, and this artist and also you know the kind of the fake kind of image, and also some use the folk art themes. They also depict this the deal with the commercialism, like the Hamburg, the McDonald's, and also the Coca-Cola in China. I can see here. This is how many Hamburgs here. It's also the used kind of folk art format to depict this. And this the trends actually in the second half of the 90s basically keep developing, and also that time with the kind of the open policy, especially the open policy to the economy, the Chinese artists also gradually attracted some kind of international attentions, and the Chinese artists started to involved in many kind of the international the biennials, especially like the Venice Biennial and the São Paulo biennials, and also the this like the Basel Documenta, this kind of all these kind of things, and also the new kind of the format of the exhibition also was introduced to China is the biennials. So in 2000, this is the first the biennial followed the international model. This is held in Shanghai, but this time the biennial actually is organized by Shanghai government, Shanghai municipal government, because the Shanghai at that time during the late 1990s became the kind of leaders of the new kind of economic development in China. We established a special zone in the part of Shanghai, and Shanghai developed so fast. I think that we just before our talk, Professor Brown, we talked about, let's see how different. You go to Shanghai. If you compare Shanghai in 1994 to now, it's completely a new city. So the Shanghai government want to promote their image of Shanghai, so they are willing to accept this international model of the biennials into Shanghai. And this also invited this foreign the artists into the show, even including the foreign curators to curate these biennials. And the biennial also became the phenomenon in China in the other parts of the city, like Chengdu also have the biennial, and start from 2001. And also the Guangzhou in the southern part of China is also have the so-called triennials start from 2002. So you can see even in Beijing in 2003, it's the most conservative city, even have their own Beijing biennial. Although at the beginning, they still, that's only including the painting and sculpture, no installation, no other kind of format for art. But anyway, this kind of biennial format just started becoming the. But on the one hand, you can see that in the official, the mainstream start to adopt the international model of this kind of biennials to show their art, and in a certain way to accept this so-called modernist art and the contemporary art into their the venue. But on the other hand, the group of the artists actually not satisfied with this kind of official channel, official venue of this kind of exhibition. This is, I think, the artist Ai Weiwei we're talking about here, or know his name. He actually organized one show, this one called Fuck Off, the show, is as a side show in 2000 on the side of the Shanghai Biennial, because he actually organized a group of the artists at that time to showing the works, and also a serious show during the biennial period, trying to show the different side, the different aspects of Chinese art at the time. Ai Weiwei, I think he actually, after the Star Group show, he came to the United States in 1982, and he is a person actually the quite very interesting person. No, he actually he just almost trying to challenge, always challenge the authority, not only in China but in the United States too. He actually participated in lots of demonstrations, this fight with the police, and this is a very brave works you can see with another Star Group artist Yan Li in front of the Lincoln Center. It's naked there to challenge this mainstream art there. And he back to China in 1994, and also this is he start work with a group of the young artists that time in the so-called East Village in suburb of Beijing. Because start from early 1990s with the development economy and also with this kind of new policy, the one fundamental change in the society is before that. The Chinese university, the graduates, usually the government will appoint the job for these graduates. Is it not necessarily you feel happy with the job, but at least you will get the job after you graduate. The assign you some kind of position to somewhere, but you have to obey this. You go if it's even you take. You took the university in Beijing, but they signed you to the remote the province. You have to go because you have no choice. But if, from the early 90s, from 1993, they abolished this policy. So, the graduates from college, you have to find job yourself, same as here. So this is actually the big change. It means the artists, the art students who graduate from college, they're not necessarily, there's still some jobs the school will assign you, but they're not necessarily follow this. They assign you, you can say no. And also, sometimes, most of the case is they didn't give you a job. You have to find a job yourself. So many artists also at that time, from the local place to Beijing, they after graduate, they didn't want to back to their hometown. They want to stay in Beijing, but they have no job. So they start to rent houses in the suburb of Beijing, especially from the peasants live in the villages. So this is called the East Village. It's not very far from downtown Beijing. It's also relatively cheap for these no money young graduates from art school. It's a very limited kind of the facility over there. It's a very poor the condition over there. But this is these artists here. They're showing the artists later. They all became the big name. Like the Zhang Huan now is. I think some of you maybe know. This I will wait. This for the road for the fuck of show. This is his challenge. I don't think I have time to read it all, but this is his kind of statement, how he wants to challenge this kind of official, the mainstream art. And the show, actually, you can see directly, this is one artist's work, directly targeted the 2000 Shanghai Biennial. This is the state-run adoption. We should say this Shanghai Biennial actually is not bad at all, because the ways kind of Shanghai government, Shanghai municipal government in China consider is most open mind, and also relatively loose control politically to the artists. But anyway, because this, of course, from our point of view, this is still the main this state-run, so they want challenges. This is this is Aiweiwei's work in the show. His photos. This is actually his performance. He actually the antiques from Neolithic period. According to him, it's a challenge the so-called the long history of China and the so-called treasure of Chinese tradition here by throwing this part in this the biennial. But the performance art already became one of the very important formats in China. This is the one, the performance art by the Eastern Village artist. And this is the photos directed related to the demolished all the old buildings in Beijing and also built Beijing. It's also, we just say, with Professor Brown in that time. And it's especially the performance art. Actually, we should say this, China, even now, they don't have a real kind of law to art, right? So also, they don't have a really kind of consistent policy to art to tell you what kind of things you can show, what kind you cannot show. The only one thing, actually, the issued this kind of notice directed from the Ministry of Culture, start from 1989, this Chinese avant-garde show, is performance art was forbidden in the Chinese art. Even now, this policy never canceled. To art, to tell you what kind of things you can show, what kind you cannot show. The only one thing, actually, the issued this kind of notice directed from the Ministry of Culture, start from 1989, this Chinese avant-garde show, is performance art was forbidden in the Chinese art. Even now, this policy never canceled. So, although so many performance art you can find in China now, in the many the occasions, but the performance art. So in the Shanghai Biennial, even open to all other medias, no performance art in this biennial. But the performance art already became one of the very important formats in China. This is the one, the performance art by the Eastern Village artist. And this is the photos directed related to the demolished all the old buildings in Beijing and also built Beijing. It's also, we just say, with Professor Brown, the Beijing, it's old Beijing, almost gone. You cannot see this kind of old building anymore because all the huge, this kind of high-rise and the blocks, the high-rise over there. So old Beijing is basically gone. This is the artists that deal with this. And this all I quickly showing the artist's work in the different kind of the performance art and also the video art and the photos, and also some kind of very provocative the works here. As you can see, this is actually it's a fake. It's not really human being. You saw they kind of eat a baby. This is just talking about this. Actually, the kind of criticism to the so many the abandoned baby in China, especially in the countryside. With this kind of the single child policy, many the family want boys, they don't want girls. So this happened, lost the girl baby, actually the band. So this is the kind of this use a more extreme ways, eat baby, as kind of way to criticize this, and also this also that works. Actually, this kind of works. I don't like it, either. So, but anyway, this is very. I'm quite sure this kind of work we cannot show in U.S. But this is the also will be censored for some other reason, not necessarily censored, but we will get a criticism from different groups in the society. But anyway, this kind of works also at that time. This is just all the works showing in there in the fuck off show there, and this kind of painting, kind of landscape on the body. It's the performance art here, and this piece actually, these two pieces that I show you here. This is eventually the show was canceled by the shutdown by the local authority. Is the reason Shanghai actually? I just said the Shanghai municipal government is relatively open-minded, so they trying to find a way. They didn't like this kind of art, of course, from their point of view, but find a way to cancel the show. It's not very easy, and because you don't have policy to say that you cannot show this, but eventually. This painting painted on the real piece of meat. After 2 weeks, this meat have the very bad smell. So inside in the gallery, so they sent the Bureau of the Public Health people go there, say this is really not good for the audience. So because of this reason, you should have to cancel. So this is a way to cancel the show. So kind of censorship you can see. Even in the, I just said, this kind of censorship in China is quite funny because they're really in different level and based on different occasions and to find a different way to censorship. Because they didn't have the real policy, with this kind of no policy, they gave the large flexibility to the authorities, also to the artists trying to, always trying to, doing something. They touch this kind of red line, or they're trying to challenge this. But on the other hand, the authorities are always trying to find some way to deal with this. So both play kind of game all the time. This is what happened in China. This is just the group, the artists that participated in this this fuck off show in Shanghai. Then during start in the 1990s, many kind of I just show you several, gave you several kind of the examples of this kind of show canceled at the time. This is a show actually organized by the one critics, that's quite a good critic named Lan Ling. He is now the director of the Pace Museum in Beijing in the 798 art district. I think you know the Pace Museum in New York. So he is the kind of director in Beijing. Now, but he organized the show. It's called It's Me. Actually, also the group of artists with all the different kind of media, including 2Ds, 3Ds, and also this photo and the video shows in there. The show is supposed to originally trying to put it inside the Forbidden City. You can see the back. This is the Forbidden City, as old buildings inside the city. But the show, the night before show opened, he was informed by this police department of the district police department, told him the show had to be canceled. No reason. No reason. Didn't give you any reason. You just cannot have this show there. So you can see next day, all the artists came trying to attend the opening ceremony, and they gathered here. Also with some reporter, they informed came, and the police came. Tell them, do you have this? The show has to the shut down, and this is the organizer have to post this, say because some reason this show is the date of its opening changed. They don't want to say this is canceled. And also, please forgive us. And ask artists if you come to the next building, I will give you the reason. And this is the curator of this show. You can see. Also, he was not allowed to speak to the reporters. So you can see here, some reporter when they're trying to ask the reason, he said, no, I just cannot talk on this. This is another show, actually also supposed to be in the Forbidden City, inside Forbidden City, showing the buildings inside the Forbidden City. You can see here by artist Song Dong. This is also the video installation show here. This is supposed to project the images on the poster of this in the large the architecture. This beautiful architecture you can see here. The show is also canceled without reason. So lots of time, they can do this is to tell you, and also usually come out from the police department. They directly tell you your show has to be canceled, but no reason. Didn't give you any reason, and you have no way to appeal, no place. And this is another the occasion. It's in 2009. We know this show in 1989. This is the first so-called Chinese avant-garde show, the modern art show. The 20 years anniversary, the 20th anniversary here. This time they want to have this kind of the celebration of the 20th anniversary of this show. They organized the show, invited the artists, lots of artists to participate in the first show, come back in Beijing to show their works. They also rented space in the west part of Beijing. It's called the Center of Chinese Agriculture. You can see it's a very nice building. They got lots of trouble. Eventually, got the space there. But also the night before the show opened, the curator, the Gao Minglu, he is now actually the professor at the University of Pittsburgh. Now teach art history there. Also gets the PhD from Harvard, but he also back to Beijing now, work both in Beijing and in the United States. And he was the curator of the Dai show in 1989. So this time he just wanted to do the show after 20 years again, but he received the notice. So in the morning he has to come to this place, tell everyone the show was canceled. And here, this is his statement. He, in front of the gallery, read the statement. You can see the sign. It's the 20th anniversary. This sign, you still remember, is a U-turn sign. Actually, it's just you can see the sign, the original, the show here. And he said, the police didn't give any reason. Just to tell them the show has to be canceled. So with all the reporters you can see here, including the foreign medias here, that he said he will use the legal this kind of the way to appear, because according to the Chinese Constitution, the people should have the freedom to do no matter exhibiting works, have the free speech and the publication. But why you don't have any reason? How can you cancel the show? This is just an art show. So you can see this kind of things that happen in China. Although we should, on the other hand, we should say the Chinese artists enjoyed much more freedom than 20 years ago. And most of artists, the most of the occasion, you can show, you can do whatever you want, basically. But still, occasionally you will find, for some reason, for some kind of occasion, you will get in trouble. In this occasion is maybe the date. The year 2009 is so sensitive. 1989 is the 20th anniversary of this show, but 1989 is also 20th anniversary of June 4th. 2009 also, this is the 60 years of the PRC, 60 anniversary of the PRC. So many important political events happen in the same year. So they don't want any trouble. They just trying to keep, maybe this really come from the local authority. They don't want to get in trouble for themselves. Also, maybe this directed from the top, trying to shut down everything. But without any explanation, you don't know where what kind of real cause for these kind of things. This is very frustrating in China. And Ai Weiwei, back to Ai Weiwei. Ai Weiwei actually, in the recent years, became the very the important, not only as the artist we know here, involved this we call it the bird nest, for the Peking Olympics, this building, participating in the design, and but also as a political activist in China. This is the one thing in 2008. Maybe lots of you know this in China have the big earthquake in the Sichuan province called Wenchuan, this place, and the thousands of people died in this earthquake. And also, especially so many young students, especially the elementary school students, died during that time. The loss because the very the bad design or the bad constructed the school buildings. All the kids actually didn't have chance to get out from within this kind of very short moment. They died. Thousands of people died. But the government wanted, didn't want anyone reveal this kind of realities. So Ai Weiwei, with one of the Sichuan writer, the local writer, that's launched this investigation, trying to document what happened during that time now, trying to count how many children died during the earthquake. But their investigation got the local government's this criticism, because they feel you reveal this kind of so-called negative side of the government and the party. This is the Ai Weiwei's piece he used, because after the 2 months of the investigation, they sent more than 160 volunteers joined their team to interview all the families have the children died. So they got the list of the died children, and there's more than 5,000 on the list. Only after their investigation, the local government eventually admit have the 5,300 something children died, and also have the 600 something missing. But actually, according to them, their investigation, there's actually much more the children died in the earthquake. But their works, their investigation, of course, caused lots of trouble. This is the one art piece actually made by Ai Weiwei. He used this backpack. This is all the single parts of the backpack. You can see here. This have the one sentence here. This is the one when they do the investigation. One mother, actually she lost her son. Asked, I just want the 7 years of my boy back. So this is just this sentence here with the color, but it's all the thousands of the backpack. Each backpack represents one life, life of children died during the earthquake. And also this is his most recent piece here. Quite late. Okay, quick. This is this is the most recent piece. Actually, the Ai Weiwei's sunflower seed here. I think that he used. Actually, you can see here. This is the hand. This is shown in the Tate Museum, Tate Modern in London. This gave the large gallery. Actually, it's about how it's very large, and there's some kind of 20,000 square feet. This gallery is here. He made it 10 million the sunflower seeds. The sunflower seeds actually the ceramics, the handmade ceramics. In the one place, the produced kind of the most important the base for the ceramic and porcelain production in Jingdezhen in Jiangxi province in China. He actually spent 2 years, asked hundreds of workers work for him to produce the 10 million sunflower seeds here. Sunflower seeds here actually have the multiple meaning here. It's sunflower during the Cultural Revolution is always, you can see, that represents the people. Because Mao was the sun, so the sunflower is always facing to the sun. So you can see this is the kind of Mao badge everyone on that time during Cultural Revolution will put on your chest. So this is actually the link to people to think about the Cultural Revolution. The sunflower seeds is also to Ai Weiwei is very personal, because his father, the year he was born, his father was claimed as a rightist, sent to the remote, northwest part of China, Xinjiang, from Beijing. Then also during the Cultural Revolution, the war was sent to jail again. That time their life was very, very difficult, and you can he still remember his mother that time can find some sunflower seeds. That's the only lecture food they have, the sunflower seeds for these kids. So this also to the Ai Weiwei is very personal here. So this is the showing here. You can see the in the Tate Modern. This is the 10 million the sunflower seeds actually about the 4-inch thick on the floor of the here. And at the beginning, everyone can walk on there. You can see here. But later, because I think the powder from this ceramics people say is have some kind of poison, since so they're not allowed to step on the sunflower seeds anymore. And of course, all these kind of things, however, of course, for a long time, I think most of his works are actually very direct and strict criticize this, have a very strong criticism. But I always think that why he didn't really get censored for quite a long time. I think maybe his background, his father is very famous, the poet, and also the long-time communist member, actually. Maybe this background, the family background, make him can escape this kind of censorship. But actually, this happened in later, start from the 2009. This is the site actually in the suburb of Shanghai. Is originally the suburb of Shanghai, the one district. The government trying to recruit some kind of artists to have established the art district the same as the 798 in Beijing to become the kind of the creative the art district over there. So the Ai Weiwei was the one recruited by the local government to establish his own the studio over there. So he actually spent more than $1 million on this the Chinese yuan to build his house over there, built the studio over there. After 2 years construction, finally the construction finished. Complete. Just 1 month after that, the local government suddenly tell him this construction of his studio is illegal. So have to turn down. But all other artists in the other parts in this place is okay. Just only his one is illegal. They close down. So of course he trying to appear. He knows this is the start. The censorship is start. Have no way to appear. So what he did is quite funny. He invited 2,000 people came to this place, because this place is in suburb of Shanghai, the famous to produce the river crabs. The Chinese river crab called He Xie, these two characters, He Xie. And these two characters are actually very similar to the one kind of policy now promoted by the current leader called the harmony in Chinese, also called He Xie. So he asked so many people, 2,000 people come to eat, have this river crab banquet in the place before this building turned down. You can see here, this although it didn't have 2,000 because the government already tell the people don't go there, but still have hundreds of people went there, have this river crab, the banquet over there. This you can see on this. Of course, I think we don't have time, and also Ai Weiwei actually is now, I think most recently, all the things I think you all know from the newspaper and all the medias. He was arrested, and also actually even in this river crab banquet, 2 days before this banquet, he was house arrested in Beijing, didn't let him come to Shanghai. Then only after that released him. But this time, he arrested for quite long, several months in Beijing, and also just very recently released. So this is quite something I think tell us what kind of censorship in China censorship is still there, but the problem in China, how to deal with censorship, and seems the game played by both sides. Okay, I think I stopped here.
Thank you very much, Kuiyi, for that broad and deep and fascinating lecture. If you do, I guess we're really kind of out of time. Class is ended, and there is the B-Word project where your own comments, what you've learned, we want to get that down. So maybe I'll, one or two questions if you have them. If you have a really burning question, I'm sure Professor Shen, even though he taught in San Diego earlier today and drove up here, still has the energy to answer questions for you. But since most of you have to go, if you want to come up and sort of ask questions at the stage, maybe that's the best way to do it. Okay, thank you, and I hope to see you later in the month for the last lecture. Thank you. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.